Okay, in this video we're going to look at how we can set default fallback values on Dynamics 365 marketing emails. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so let's say that on our survey, we've got a bit of text and we want to do some personalization. So I'm going to say dear, and then I'm going to come up here to personalization, and I'm going to use the first name field from the contact. So I'm going to do a dynamic content, and I'm going to pick the contact. The relationship will be no relationship because we're going to select the field from the contact directly. And then we're going to go ahead and do first name. So I'm going to go and insert that. So now we're going to have dear contact first name, comma, let us know your thoughts. Now, if I go ahead and preview this, and my main person that I usually preview is Jane Doe, she's my test contact. So that's great. It shows, dear Jane, let us know your thoughts. If I then change that and I look for a contact that I know does not have a first name, which is possible, it's not necessarily required, it might not be required in your environment. Now we see dear and then nothing and then a comma. Doesn't look so good, does it? So let's go ahead and let's change that. So let's just put Jane back in there and we'll go back to the designer. Now, what we can do is we can use a little bit of code. Instead of just pulling directly from the first name, we can then put in a sort of clause that says, if there's a first name, if there's not a first name, let's do this. Otherwise, let's use the first name. So instead of dear contact first name, I'm going to remove that and I'm going to go ahead and put dear. So the dear is just the word that comes before all of this. The next things we're doing is we're doing the code. So we're saying if equals, so if the contact.first name field, so the first name on the contact, if that equals, and then we've got two single quotes, so that's basically saying if it's empty. So if there's nothing in there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the word customer. Okay, so we're basically saying if that field is empty, use the word customer. Else, if not equals the first name empty, so in other words, if the contact first name isn't empty, therefore it's got something in it, then we can go ahead and we can use that contact first name field and use that personalization. And then finally, to kind of stop the email looking for any additional logic in the code, we just kind of close that code by doing an ending of the if statement. So now we've got if the contact first name field equals blank, so if there's nothing in there, it's empty, use the word customer, so it would be dear customer. Else, if that doesn't equal empty, so it's not blank, then let's use the first name. So now if we go ahead and preview it and we look at the email from Jane's perspective, notice that we've got dear Jane. We also are using up here, this is just the personalization of first name. We don't have that additional logic to it. So if I then change this and I look for my Mr. Smith again, who's got no first name, now it says dear customer. We can see that that's worked, and we can see that the subject would also need that code in there as well in order to save embarrassment to where it looks a little bit messy. So that's how you can go ahead and you can set a default fallback value on your marketing emails in the Dynamics 365 marketing app. So I hope you found that helpful. Any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in below. Thank you. Hi, I'm Megan Walker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something from it. If you don't want to miss out on any other content, you can go ahead and click on my face below to subscribe. And if you want to watch the next video, you can do that by clicking over here and go ahead and get started. Thanks again.